I think that I've said that one of my rules in selecting things to review is that I can't just do random online videos for the sake of animated atrocities. I mean, that's kind of mean, and the only real audience you have to do it for when you post something online is yourself. However, I think that rule needs a little bit of an update. If you make a bad non-fictional or educational animation for the internet, I can still tackle it here. I don't care if it's just for yourself. There is no excuse for bad information. And oh boy, do we got the doozy of one today. Today, the Happy Tree Friends are going to be telling us about YouTube's copyright system. I have so many issues with this. Like, right off the bat, the Happy Tree Friends, they're really going to tell us about copyright. I mean, I have nothing against the Happy Tree Friends. I don't watch the show. But from what I can tell, it's kind of like Itchy and Scratchy. It's not their place to be educational about anything, let alone dealing with one of the most confusing aspects of the website. I mean, it's like having the annoying orange telling me about cyberbullying. Something just doesn't add up here. Was YouTube really too cheap or lazy to make their own video about this thing? I get it, you want to have YouTube programs talk about YouTube features, but even so, it's gotta fit. And this just doesn't. I mean, the top guy on your website is a Let's Player, and he probably has to deal with this stuff all the time. He'd probably be the best person to deal with this topic. Not a show about animals maiming each other, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the people behind Happy Tree Friends are fair use lawyers behind the scenes. Or they might just be parroting corporate bullshit. We won't know until we see the video, which you probably have if you've ever gotten a copyright strike, and we'll be getting to that.
Everybody's really been looking forward to the new video from Lumpy and the Lumpettes. Even Lumpy.
Because he is pretentious. Since Russell likes the video, he decides to record it.
Hey, Russell! You didn't create that video! You just copied someone else's content!
Okay, YouTube, I guess we're just going to ignore the felony of recording in a movie theater. Fair enough. Breaking your rules is by far the more serious offense here.
Uploading someone else's content without permission could get you into a lot of trouble. It may be copyright infringement.
So, in this particular case of directly recording and directly uploading unaltered content only may be copyright infringement. Good to know, YouTube. Look, when people keep confusing these two things, you've got to make this as understandable as possible, and your wording was horrible there.
Copyright is a form of protection for original works of authorship, including literary, dramatic, musical, graphic, and audiovisual creations.
I think we're going to need to distinguish the difference between copyright and the YouTube copyright ID system, something which this video happily ignores. With the YouTube copyright ID system, people can get tagged by uploading their own content, like Jonathan Blow getting hit from uploading footage of his independent game that he made. Also, there exist third-party companies that exist to tag videos and take their ad revenue. One of them is literally called ad revenue for a third party.
Even though YouTube is a free site, you can get in serious trouble for copyright infringement. You can be sued and found liable for monetary damages. You could lose your booty.
I don't really have any booty, due to the amount of ad share that YouTube itself takes out of all the videos that are advertised. You see, whether or not a video has been matched in copyright ID, YouTube is going to get ad revenue out of it, whether they're getting ad revenue from the channel or from a different company. In fact, on a channel like mine, where the only videos that have ads are ones that are tagged by copyright, that is the only way that YouTube can get money out of someone like me. When a video gets copyright ID matched and doesn't get blocked or taken down, the company on the other side is going to take ad revenue from it, whether your account is enabled for ads or not. By getting as many videos tagged by copyright ID matches as possible, YouTube can make the most money possible. Because even if you are enabled for ads, there's a chance that some random algorithm will spawn and you won't be able to make ad revenue off that video for no apparent reason that they never give you. However, if it gets tagged for ID, it can be monetized by random company X. Yes, this is probably what that whole video game fiasco was about like a year ago. I'm just telling you guys this because this official video about YouTube's official copyright policy doesn't even mention that videos can be copyright claimed but not taken down. I just thought you ought to know.
Or worse, you could lose your YouTube account.
No. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's worse to lose your YouTube account than being sued or losing all of your money and going into bankruptcy. Even if you are uploading full movies that got your account removed, it's worth challenging those DMCAs because losing your YouTube account is the worst possible thing that can happen to you. When you're making an educational video, you don't have to tell jokes. And when you do, you never want to muddle the actual information.
You only get a few chances. If YouTube receives a valid notification of alleged copyright infringement from a copyright holder for one of your videos, the video will be removed in accordance with the law.
Stop! Just stop right there. Valid. I don't think so, buddy. Even if we ignore fair use completely here, companies like Sega of Japan have been known to remove videos through their tags for search ranking. This can remove videos just talking about anything really, not even what they wanted to remove, whether those videos show footage or not. Sorry to stop you there, video. I just don't appreciate lying, especially in an educational video.
You'll be notified via email and in your account. And you'll get a strike.
Dipshit, if people are watching this video, they already know, since the only time most people watch this video is after they gotten hit with a strike, and they don't already have the knowledge to begin with. I got through this copyright quiz like 20 times without watching the video once. And what are the consequences of a strike, good sir? Oh, you're not going to tell me, okay. Alright, I guess it's not worth knowing that YouTube will limit how long your videos can be, disable external links, but they won't revoke your ad privileges for some reason. Also, are you going to mention that these are bundled with strikes for other purposes, like spam? If you have a spam strike and 2 copyright strikes, it's as good as having your channel removed. And as far as I understand, those spam strikes are borderline unfightable.
If YouTube finds you're a repeat offender, you'll get banned for life.
Yeah, video. My account was taken down a while back because I did have 3 strikes. I'm back now. Can you explain why that happened and how I got back? Oh. No, you're not going to do that? Oh well, I guess when people have lost their accounts, you don't give a shit. Thanks for being helpful.
Here's an idea. Why not make your own video?
Because it can still be tagged, still be taken down, can still get flagged for spam, bullying, or whatever. People have been copyright claimed for making their own music, their own animation, and like I've said before, their own video games. I suppose YouTube just wants everyone to vlog, but you can't vlog about copyrighted media, even if you don't show the product, because that could be taken down too. But to give YouTube here the benefit of the doubt, let's follow their logic. To avoid risking copyright claims on your videos, don't use copyrighted material. To avoid getting into a car crash, don't drive. To avoid getting obese, don't eat fast food. To avoid getting eaten by a dog, don't have a pet dog. Not only does the cause not always lead to the effect in any of these scenarios, but you could still end up in a car crash if you're a pedestrian.
Uh-oh, you're making a video of Lumpy's live performance of his song, which is still protected by copyright.
We're still not going to talk about how this is illegal though, right?
You still may not be able to upload it without permission.
Why don't you give me some information about something I don't know? Would covering Lumpy's song, like singing the lyrics yourself, still be considered copyright infringement? Apparently it is with the song Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday is probably the oldest copyright in existence, performed in 1893. Most things that are that old in something called the public domain, which this video isn't going to tell you about, and it's something which you could also get copyright tagged by. I'm not going to talk about what a convoluted mess that is, because I only have 15 minutes here because of this convoluted mess. We'll talk about public domain sometime in the future, but just know that it's jacked. And I'm probably going to write into my will that any and all of my creations will go into the public domain when I die, because it's pointless to hold on to them for any longer than that.
Oh, Russell, your reuse of Lumpy's content is clever, but did you get permission for it? Mashups or remixes of content may also require permission from the original copyright owner.
Under what circumstances, good sir?
Depending on whether or not the use is a fair use. In the United States...
Oh god, we're going here. I'm not angry for them barely talking about this and rushing over it. I'm angry for them talking about it at all. Everywhere else on YouTube, they like to pretend that fair use doesn't exist. And it's a private website. If they don't want to adhere to fair use, that's fine. But they're pretending that they do. Because they glance over it here, people think that it's okay to just upload songs or full episodes of television shows if they just forward it with the description of fair use or put it in their description. And if you're doing that, you're not helping the problem. So I'm going to need to fix what this thing is too stupid to. First of all, and this would actually minimize annoyance on their part if they actually mention this, fair use is a defense. Nothing is actually fair or unfair until it actually goes to a legal court and is decided by a judge. So what a reviewer or a remix artist or anyone like that needs to do is figure out if their video is more or less likely to be fair use. The purpose or nature means that it's more likely to be fair use if it's a condensed review than just talking over the whole movie. Nature means that it's more likely to be fair use if the thing was meant to be displayed for public viewing rather than a private video made for just a couple of people. If it was meant to be sold, it's more than likely going to be okay to review it. As for the amount, this one is the very hardest to gauge because there's no rule of thumb. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, you're going to need to figure it out on your own. And as for the effect on the market, this does not mean it's against fair use to make a negative review. That wouldn't even make sense. Although the copyright lawyers may argue that. What it basically means is that can people get a similar product from you than they could from the source material? Also, this is United States law, so I'd recommend doing some research on the laws of whatever region you're in.
If someone copies your work after you posted it, you have the right to take it down.
Unless you signed a contract of some kind, or the aforementioned fair use, which we're just going to forget about. Oh wait, I forgot, even if your video is under fair use, apparently other people still have the right to take it down, whether they own the copyrighted material or not.
YouTube provides tools for rights holders to control the use of their content. If someone takes down your video by mistake, or as a result of a misidentification of the material to be removed,
Or out of maliciousness or paranoia.
there's a counter-notification process for that. You can send YouTube a notice that there was an error.
That takes up to 14 business days. Business days do not include weekends or holidays, so it takes about 3 weeks in the real world. And that's only if YouTube doesn't forget that you ever sent in the copyright notification, which they are liable to do! Meanwhile, you'll have a strike all this time because of someone else's mistake, or maliciousness. We're just gonna leave this detail out, of course, because it makes YouTube look lazy and incompetent.
But be careful. If you misuse the process, you could end up in court. And then you would get in a lot of trouble. That's how the law works.
But that's not how YouTube works. I want you guys to see this. This is one of the videos that was directly DMCA'd by Viacom, and that resulted in my channel being temporarily terminated, if that makes any sense. After I disputed it, and the video went back up, they claimed it again, and are now making advertising revenue off of it. So if Lumpy was pissed enough here, he could keep claiming under different names. What are you gonna do about it? Countersue the guy? I mean, if you had the money to stand up in court for several years against many powerful attorneys, you better get Phoenix Wright on the phone.
That's more like it. By singing an original song, you're creating your own content. When you make an original video, you're the owner of your own copyright, and you have the right to post it to YouTube. Original content is what makes YouTube interesting.
Which is why the #1 YouTuber is a Let's Player. And many other channels in the top 100 are Vivo channels.
If you're still unsure about copyright issues, YouTube has some resources as a starting point.
And they are all just about as helpful as this. Also, I love how this video is dated by YouTube constantly pointlessly updating things. Also, this video has no credits, so I don't know who made this, who voice acted in it, or who wrote the script. I don't even know if it's owned by Happy Tree Friends or YouTube. So, meh.